For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. I love that quote, for it reminds me of a precious year in the life of my family when we lived in this very house. It's a parsonage, actually. The shelter of its dignity and that of the building next door provided a very special climate for all 8 of us preachers' kids to grow up in. And love was there, and truth, and laughter. What more can life hold?
Come on, Gil, slide this time, slide!
Come on, Ed, he's going. You're out of there, Gil.
I am not!
By a mile. Nice toss, Ed.
A tie goes to the runner, Cecil.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a tie.
It was so!
Okay, this is why we have an umpire.
So what was it?
He's home!
Well, Freckles, I guess it's up to you.
It was a good slide. Papa! Papa!
Hey, sweetheart, how you doing? Good evening, Mrs. Porter. We have a lot to talk about. Oh, hi, boys.
Hi, Papa. Hi, Papa.
Gilderoy, do you try to get that dirty?
Nuh-uh. Just happens when you slide.
Well, all of you slide on inside and wash the mud off. I want clean hands and faces at the table.
Bishop Martin asked me to accept the appointment in Sterling.
When would we have to leave?
Oh, as soon as possible. Next week.
Next week?
If we can. I know. It's sudden.
It's around the corner. We have to pack. The children have to change schools. All kinds of things have to be canceled, and Sterling's so far away.
85 miles.
Oh, Edwin, it's a shame to leave all this.
It's an emergency, Pearl. Reverend Caldwell died. The church's finances are a mess. They may even lose it. The bishop thinks we might be able to save it. Besides, appointments like this are made in heaven. They're not made by preachers. All right. Whose turn is it for the blessing?
Giller's.
Paul Candler, I believe it's yours.
Dear Lord, thank you for my food and for Mama's food and Cecil's, and Jeanette's and Eileen's, and Papa's food, and Ed's and Raven's and Hugh's. Except he's not here but at college at SMU. And Gil's food, who made a real good slide, but it's out. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Paul.
Amen.
Now, before we begin, your Mama and I have something to talk to you about. I've been asked to leave Dallas for another church. We'll be moving next week.
Next week? But, Dad, we have a baseball game on Thursday.
All right, one at a time. Gil?
What's the church like?
I've been there. It's very nice. It's small. Pretty small.
What's the name of the place, Papa?
Sterling, Texas.
Sterling? Where's that?
85 miles from here.
Jeanette, what is it, honey?
Mama, I can't leave Dallas. I just can't.
Is it Elliot?
He's the best boyfriend I've ever had.
Do you love him? If there's love in your heart, then nothing can take it away.
Why do we have to move now? In the mission, I mean, all those little kids, they depend on me so much. We depend on each other.
There's a church that needs Papa. We've had to move before. There's time for you and Elliot. Believe me, love has a way of working things out.
I wish I could stay.
Where's Jeanette?
I have a pretty fair idea. Okay, Raven, make sure this piano's secure.
Okay.
Now you put these in a safe place.
It's always been one of my favorite hymns.
Sorry. I just wanted a moment to remember.
It was very pretty, just like you.
Is it hard for you to leave?
Every time. I put a lot of work into this church. We all did.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
Every congregation is like a big extended family. It's hard to say goodbye. Hello, Elliot.
Hey, Mr. Porter.
Well, I guess you two have a few things to talk about. You get the chance, you come down to Sterling. You know the Porter house is always open.
Thank you. I'll try and do that.
All right.
We'll miss you.
Thanks for coming.
We just wanted to say goodbye.
This is for you. Maybe you should open it later. I mean, they're waiting and all.
I'll come back as soon as I can. I promise.
What is it?
Oh, it's just a bracelet. It has my name on it.
Well, that's better than if it had somebody else's name on it.
It's a beautiful bracelet.
This claimed the lives of at least 6 United Nations troops. Intelligence sources in Korea say at least 2 were Americans.
Look, there's the town hall.
How's she look? Like a goner. Broken window, the yard's a mess. She could sure use some paint.
What about our house?
Well, no broken windows, but I don't know how we're all gonna fit.
We'll find a way. We always do.
Howdy! Welcome to Sterling. Oh, you must be Pearl.
Yes,
I'm Bertie Burwell. Folks call me Missy B. Of course, they call me a lot of other things, too. Isn't that just the way it is in small towns these days? Heaven's sakes, what are we doing standing out here chattering? You must be anxious to sit down. Let's go on inside.
Come on, let's go find our room.
Reverend Caldwell, God rest his soul, lived here near on 10 years. Bachelor, you know. Didn't have a clue about interior decoration. No, in here is the master bedroom, and here's the bath, and in here is the kitchen.
What's that?
Does that smell? Meatloaf and gravy, chicken pot pies, cornbread, green beans, and strawberry ice cream. I just knew you wouldn't be up to fixing dinner. So pretty, so young. I don't see how you do it. Meals for 9 people 3 times a day, and all those boys. Heaven's sake, must be like feeding an army.
Why, Missy B.
Now, don't go thanking me. It's the least I can do for the new preacher and his family. Don't have any of my own. Oh, Brother Porter, I usually open the church office at 8 a.m.
Well, 8 sounds fine.
Good. Now, Pearl, I put my number in by the phone. Don't be shy about using it. If there's anything you need or want to know about Sterling, just give me a holler. Nice having this time to chat and get to know you. Bye.
Well, maybe I should cut my feet off.
Before you say anything, Cecil, just remember you're the oldest.
So I have to sacrifice the most.
Mama, are we going to get to my room soon?
Honey, they're all your rooms. Until we can figure out something better, you just find a place with your brothers, okay?
Hey, cowboy.
Wow, Tom in the saddle.
I think we have a problem here.
Raven, there are 24 hours in a day. The way I figure it, that bathroom belongs to each of you for 3 hours. Problem solved.
A new town. My soul, we move around.
Wish we could settle down, but until then, I'm back in line.
I'm back in line.
One more time.
One more time.
I'm back in line again.
In line again.
Just when I think we're through the close, we're moving on.
Good night.
I'm back in line again.
Love.
I'm back in line
again.
If I catch you on the bar 20 ranch an hour, I'll come after you smoking. And Keno, if I was you, I'd ride east. Do you hear me? Yeah, you said ride east. When you're talking to a guy like this, never turn your back.
Oh, Bob! All of you still have chores. Now let's go.
Mama, Saturday's the only day we get to see the westerns.
Gilderoy?
I know. Television fills up time, not minds.
Never had to do this.
Yeah, well, you know what happened to him.
job, partner. I did.
I think you just set a record for a single purchase in my store on a Saturday. $111.26. You planning a party?
No, but I've got a lot of boys with hollow legs.
Just make it out for $25.26. Don Granger.
Pearl Porter.
Pleasure. Been a member at the church for 20 years now. Missy B told me all about you and your family. Matter of fact, the whole town ought to know by now.
She's a very interesting person.
That woman's got more news and information than Edward R. Murrah, and she's not afraid to broadcast it either. Like I said, with the one-time clergy discount, it's $25.26.
How I love good books. You know, ever since I can remember, I love Lewis Carroll. Huh? 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves, the gyre and gimble in the wabe, all mimsy with the borogoves, and the mom raz outgrabe.
Beware the Jabberwock, my son.
The jaws that bite, the claws that catch, beware the jub-jub bird, and shun the frummiest bandersnatch.
Missy B, whatever in the world was that?
Just a poem I read when I was a little girl.
Miss B, I was wondering if you could tell me where the new preacher is.
I'm Ed Porter.
Jack Murphy's the name.
Oh, well, it's nice to meet you. I'm afraid my hands are a little dirty. I've been working in the yard.
I've been a member of this church ever since I knew the meaning of the word Methodist. Shame to see us lose it.
Sterling's not going to lose this church, Mr. Murphy.
Well, frankly, I don't see how she's going to keep it. With attendance falling off and the young folks not joining up like their parents did, this church can't cut it financially. My bank's done everything we can to help out, but there comes a time when you got to separate the sheep from the goats.
Well, I'm aware of the situation, including the overdue mortgage payments. But Bishop Martin asked me to try and save this church, not perform his funeral. I intend to do that.
I admire your intentions, Brother Porter. I just don't see where we're going to get the money.
Neither do I, but I know we will.
I see. Well, I'll be seen in church tomorrow.
I'll be sure to be there.
It's impossible to get anything done in this town without Jack Murphy's help.
Nothing's impossible, Missy B, if you believe in what you're doing.
You may be right, but along the way, beware the Jabberwock.
That pie sure looks good enough to eat. That's not a bad idea. Hey, Mom, can we?
That's for Sunday.
Oh, there's one thing I'm definitely gonna do when I get married. What's that? Eat a pie on Saturday.
I don't think the floor's been cleaned in 100 years. We need some more rags.
Cleanliness is next
I
to...
know.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Do you think you could spare a hungry gentleman just a little bite of something to eat?
Janelle, would you cut the man a piece of apple pie? Would you care to come in?
Well, it's not that I wouldn't like to come in, but... Well, it's just so lovely out today. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Creepy.
He's not creepy. Just an unfortunate soul in need.
Is he a hobo?
Maybe. But he's one of God's angels, too.
That was an angel?
An angel unawares. Good job.
You think I missed my calling?
It's nice to know there's something else you could do in a pinch.
How's Jeanette today?
She didn't say anything. It's on her mind, though. She's going to miss the mission in Elliott.
Well, once she gets into school in the church here, she'll be okay. 16's too young to be going off back to Dallas.
Sunday school.
Well, don't say that too loud, Eileen.
All the teachers turn out to be grouchy old hens.
Well, now, that's the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not teach Sunday school unless thou art 90 years old.
Younger ladies have other things on their minds, especially if they're pretty.
What other things?
Let's go, children.
Besides, this teacher's probably only 82.
Something wrong, Eileen?
Good morning.
Jeanette, would you help me, please?
Oh, lovely.
Give us, O God, an eye for beauty, an ear for truth, and a heart that hungers after thee. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Who wrote that prayer, Miss Tucker?
A very good minister in New York City.
They have churches in New York City?
Believe it or not. How many of you pray every day at home?
Was for my baby brother.
Every day of our lives is a new beginning, an opportunity to start again, to open ourselves up to the world and people around us, and to attempt to better ourselves and our own human condition. God finds wonderful ways to show his love to us, Sometimes it takes a tragedy or a major change in our lives before we take the time to recognize his gifts. But more often, it's the simple, everyday occurrences which we tend to overlook, which are the most obvious opportunities to recognize his work. Now, it might be a friend who needs to know someone cares. Or it might be a stranger, lost in a multitude of seemingly unconquerable troubles. Or a young heart that needs guidance at a difficult moment. Now, I feel if we're to believe in the gospel of Christ, and if we're to act and live out those beliefs, then we must seize every opportunity to renew our Christian spirits.
Miss Tucker?
Why don't you just call me Kate?
Like in the play, Kiss Me Kate.
Just like in the play.
Are you coming to our house for cake and cookies?
Am I invited?
Sure.
When Bishop Martin asked me to come here, he emphasized revitalization, fresh ideas, a new spirit for a congregation. And as a preacher, I welcome that challenge. And I trust the presence of myself and my family in this community will renew your spirit, the way I'm sure you will revitalize ours.
Absolutely riveting, preacher.
Thank you.
Miss Cartwright runs the parsonage committee. Anything you'll be needing for the house, you can discuss with her.
Well, there will be a few things.
I surely hope so. What with your big family and all.
8 children, and not an idiot in the bunch.
Bye, Mom. Do you like Shakespeare?
Jeanette has to explain most of it to me, but I gotta read them, because I'm gonna be the youngest Juliet.
Oh, lady, by yonder blessed moon, I swear that tips with silver these fruit treetops.
Oh, swear not by thy moon, thy inconstant moon, that monthly changes in her circle dark, lest that thy love prove likewise variable. Romeo and Juliet.
Performing seems to run in the Porter family.
What are you gonna be when you grow up?
I'm studying at Southwestern Medical School.
Wow, a lady doctor.
Isn't that in Dallas?
Yes, it's a long commute, but it's worth it.
Did you meet Kate Tucker today?
She seemed very nice.
Yeah, she is. She's studying to be a doctor in Dallas. She drives down there all the time. She said it would be fine if I went with her. I figured I could stay at Hugh's place at SMU. Or if he's too busy, I could stay with Kate. She's got her own apartment. That way I could work at the mission at least part-time. What do you think, Papa?
I know how important that is to you, but you're too young to go off alone.
You're always telling us that we should do the things we believe in. I can work it out so I don't miss any school. Saturdays are the most important days at the mission anyway.
I'll think about it.
Thanks, Papa.
This is important to her, Edwin.
Oh, I know it's important when you call me Edwin. Where did you manage to find prairie roses at this time of year?
From an angel of sorts.
Which one is he?
Yellow shirt.
Ooh, Marilyn, he's so cute.
Must be new preacher's kids. Wonder what they're like.
There's only 2 kinds. Goody-goody sissies or knuckle-brain blockheads.
Look, they even walk like ducks.
Class, we have a new pupil joining us today, Edwin Porter. Mr. Porter, will you stand up and tell us something about yourself?
I guess you all know my dad's the new preacher. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters. I play the piano, and some people say I can sing.
Amen.
Before we moved here, I worked at a mission in Dallas. I really hope to go back soon. I love working with children.
I'll bet she thinks she has a halo over her head.
She sure does.
There's a piece by Daniel Defoe that explains a notion I've found to be true. Wherever God erects a house of prayer, the devil always builds a chapel there. And 'twill be found upon examination, the latter has the largest congregation.
Near as I can tell, here are all the bedridden, injured, or in the hospital. I suppose some need visits more than others.
How do you mean?
Well, take Gaddis Farley there. Broke his leg falling off a horse.
Well, is he at home?
He's in jail. Horse wasn't his.
How about Sally Grimes?
Ooh, that's a sticky one. The Grimes girl is pregnant, and she's come down with a miserable case of measles. And that's not all. She's not married either.
Well, start with Sally Grimes.
My name's Ed Porter, Miss Grimes. I'm your new preacher.
I wasn't expecting any formal callers.
Oh, well, this isn't a formal call. I'd just like to visit any members too ill to attend services.
Reverend, I haven't seen the inside of that church in 7 months.
I see.
You may see, but I don't figure you understand. Folks over in Sterling been gossiping up a tornado over me. Tell you the truth, I don't need any more of that. Can't say as I'm in the mood for any preaching, neither.
Are you all alone out here, Sally?
Most times.
Well, if you ever need anything, if there's ever anything that I can do, just give me a call. You take care of yourself now.
Oh, yeah. Do you ever get embarrassed by being a preacher's kid?
Darlene, what's your father do?
He's a lawyer, but lots of kids have fathers who are lawyers or farmers or store owners. You know, normal jobs. But being a preacher or a preacher's kid just isn't normal.
Well, you see that grocery store over there? Well, I'm a normal kid. Right now, I'm gonna go do a very normal thing. I'm gonna go over there, see if I can't get myself a very normal job. See you tomorrow. Oh, and Raven, don't be late for dinner. Otherwise, Paul'll stake you out in the backyard for 40 days and 40 nights. Like he did the last time.
Does he think I believe that? Nah, besides, it was only 4 days. She's right, you know? That way. It's not normal. How many people know what Darlene's father does for a living? Or yours? It could be any one of those normal things. But when you're a preacher's kid, everybody knows it. Every time I walk into church, I can feel the eyes. They're saying, there goes the preacher's kid. And they're thinking, he's supposed to set some kind of an example. It's like you're up on a stage, and all your friends are out in the audience. And none of the eyes are on them. And if I go doing some dumb thing, you can be sure my dad's gonna hear about it 10 times over. Of course, having everybody know who you are has some advantages, too. We just moved here, and already hundreds of people know I'm the preacher's kid. Am I yakking away too much?
No.
Well, can I ask you a question? Do you live in Texas, or are we walking clear to Louisiana?
And she lives there alone?
As far as I can tell, Missy B says the Grimes have owned the place for 30 years. Her parents are both gone now.
Dinner over? You've been asking for this, Raven.
Hi.
Have you decided to go on a diet?
Papa, I was just...
You missed dinner, young man. And that's going to cost you an extra set of chores.
I'll get it.
No, Raven. You'll get into your room.
I'll be driving to Dallas Friday. I was wondering if you'd care to go with me.
Oh, I'd love it. Well, I'll have to ask permission.
All right, I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, bye.
And now the hungry lion roars. Roar! And the wolf behowls the moon. And the heavy plowman snores.
Yay. Good night. Will you ask him?
As soon as I can find a minute when I think he'll listen.
Okay, great. Bye.
Where's Raven? He's, walking with a friend.
What's her name?
Morning, Raybone.
Hey, how you doing? Eric's a real funny guy.
Brother Porter, I must tell you something. There may be some fireworks at the Stewart's meeting tonight.
Well, it wouldn't be a real one if there wasn't.
This is serious. Jack Murphy's been calling all the board members, telling them how unhappy he is about your attitude towards our church.
Now, what attitude is that?
This church can't meet its expenses now, let alone spend hundreds of dollars to paint Sunday school rooms. I don't see how we can possibly justify it.
In many ways, I believe you're right.
Mr. Murphy, those rooms and the exterior of this building are downright shabby. And if there's one thing I won't stand for, it's young people and the people of this community associating shabbiness with this church.
No, heaven's sake, we can't have that.
He's right, Jack. What kind of an image would your bank have if the paint were peeling and the furnace never worked? You'd never get any new customers.
My bank has been in this town 40 years, and that's the difference. People know me and they trust me, even with their life savings. You knew here, Brother Porter. It takes time to earn that trust. Now, I know you have a big family and you're concerned about youth in the church.
But our young people aren't regular in attendance anyway. And lots of us don't have families here.
Well, maybe more of us would if you'd just listen to reason, Betty Cartwright.
I don't think this is the appropriate time to talk about these things.
I'm not saying we should overlook anybody in favor of youth.
And where's the money going to come from? Now, I don't want to see this church bankrupt. But this isn't Dallas, Brother Porter. Trust me. I know how things work around here, and I know the people.
Oh, most of them just owe you money.
Listen, Granger, I am not some Johnny-come-lately like you. I have been an important part of this church 41 years.
Maybe that's why nothing's changed in 41 years.
Papa, there's been an important phone call. Mama thinks it might be an emergency. It's from Sally Grimes.
I'll call a doctor.
There's no time, Edwin. We've got to get her into town right away.
It's all right.
Papa.
I'm all right. You didn't hit me. I'm all right.
If you stay out here, somebody surely will. Come on, you get in the car.
Please. Oh, I'm much obliged. I'm all right. I'm all right. Ooh.
We're on our way to the hospital. Any chance you know where it is?
You know, I'm on the way there, too. Yeah. Oh, sure. I know. You just go right down that way.
Would you step over here for a moment, please? I just have to ask a few questions. The name of the husband?
I don't think there is one.
I see. Patient's social security number and date of birth.
I don't know that either.
What time did labor begin?
I would imagine it was sometime this afternoon.
May I ask just who you are?
Reverend Porter, Mrs. Porter, they're both going to be okay.
Oh.
It's a boy.
I didn't know you worked here, too.
It was part of my internship. You know, another 20 minutes and they wouldn't have made it. She was hemorrhaging pretty badly. Could I speak with you for a moment, Reverend Porter?
Well, sure. Excuse me, Pearl.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, don't worry about John. He's a regular here.
Well, good night, Kate.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for talking to my father. Sometimes he's really hard to persuade.
He thinks the world of your work at the mission.
Yeah, well, there's another reason I'm going back, too.
Elliot?
Did he tell you that?
A little bird told me.
Yeah, I'll bet that little bird's my little sister, too. Sunday.
How's my ever-growing sister?
I'm good. How you doing?
Up to my ears in logical empiricism, the existential view.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Fun? Oh, for fun they throw in St. Augustine and Friedrich Nietzsche.
Oh, kind of tough, huh?
It's not all baptizing and Bible study. Hey, what would you like to do? I'm free for the whole night.
Oh, I can't wait to see the look on his face.
Jeanette, you. Well, hello. I didn't expect to see you here.
I sort of came down on short notice, Mr. Powell.
Elliot's not here. He went out with some friends, and I'm sure he'd like to see you. Will you be here tomorrow?
Yeah. I'll be at the mission all day, though.
Good. I'll tell you.
Okay. Thanks. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Hey, great idea. There's a new movie at the Crest. High Noon. Gary Cooper. Oh, come on.
To tell the old story of Jesus and his love. One day es esta historia, mi de mañana gloria, será antigua historia de Cristo y su amor.
Okay, todos, atención.
Ooh. So good to see you. I have so many things to tell you.
What's it like up there?
Well, it's okay. But I'm going to be coming up to Dallas nearly every weekend. I got a ride.
Oh.
If things work out when school's over, I'm going to be working at the mission and staying with my brother. Isn't that great news?
Yeah.
We can be together the whole summer. Elliot, is something wrong?
No. It's just that if I'd known you were coming sooner, I wouldn't have made any plans. Last night or tonight.
Oh. Well, it's okay. I'll be back. Maybe you can come up to Sterling.
Yeah. I'd like that.
I better get back to the class.
I'll call you. Okay. I love you.
I got some inventory to check, Cecil. I'll be in the back.
Be 26 cents.
Much obliged.
Right then. Well, your boys who work this field now.
Mighty big field.
I'll pay them regular earnings. They'll do a good job. I feel real good about this. Well, don't make me feel too bad, then. Well, thank you. Thank you.
We got it. About 2 full acres.
Good.
And 50 cents an hour.
Good deal. Well, I'm all done, Mr. Granger. Guess I'll be going home now.
Okay, Cecil. I figured your wages for the week comes to $10.50.
Well, there's $11 here.
You had some change coming. The pickles, pork and beans, the box of Cheez-Its, and the can of foot powder old John White filched only added up to $1. Besides, John White and I have an arrangement.
Let's go to your room after dinner and play hide and go seek. Okay. Hey, you want to play? Yeah, Ed's it.
Great pie, Mom. Can we be excused?
Thank you, and yes, you may.
Gil, I am not it. I'm always it.
I'll be it. There's one more piece, Papa.
No. I've had plenty.
Cecil, I do believe if your eyes got any bigger, they'd pop out of your head.
So, are you going to the dance? You know, that guy Harry in your class is just dying to ask you.
Yeah, well, I asked Elliot. His dad's gonna let him drive up.
Uh-oh.
I thought you'd have more to say than that.
Hey, look, I was just walking.
Will you walk yourself right back to the bedroom?
Raven's just going through a stage, Papa.
Well, it's a stage I'd sure like to see end.
It will. Conference is soon. Do you suppose they'll be moving us again?
Well, I don't think so. Then again, the bishop might decide I'm not doing the job.
Oh, Edwin.
Appointments are always made at conference. We just have to wait and see.
Everything has to wait until conference.
Take a break.
That's the best idea I've heard today.
You finished with that yet?
Yeah, come on, let's hear it, Cease.
Poetry's never finished. It just keeps growing. Kind of like this okra. Unless, of course, you have it published, then it's kind of finished.
That's real mature, Cecil. Deep.
Go.
Hey! Let me go, Cecil! Let me go! Come on, now!
Mama, do you think they're ever gonna make clothes that don't need to be washed and ironed all the time?
Not in this lifetime.
You mean maybe in the next?
You never know, but it's certainly a constructive thought.
I'll construct on it.
You do that. Well, you boys look like you've inherited my green thumbs.
Yeah, and some of the red ones, too.
gonna take us hours to fix what those guys messed up.
Yeah, they were just trying to be funny.
Oh, Eric Lear's a real funny guy. Hysterical.
Sometimes your brothers are so silly.
I think they're great. Frankly, you know I can't swim.
It's Elliot.
I'll be moving out to Fort Sam Houston this week. If I'm lucky, I'll make it to Korea by fall.
I don't understand why you had to do this.
Korea's not the end of the world.
9,000 miles closer to it.
I bet it's just like Texas, only smaller. School isn't for me. Maybe later, but I just don't want to wind up greasing cars or plowing fields for the rest of my life.
Yeah, but what about us?
This'll make it better. I'm going to get a chance to go out and learn things, to really grow up fast. When I come back, we can do whatever we want. You'll see. I promise. I guess I should have told you sooner, but I had to make up my own mind.
Are you sure?
I guess we better get back.
Elliot, I don't want to go to the dance.
Papa, we were right there. We all saw Eric. I don't know what it is, but this guy's trying to get my goat. Tell you the truth, I'm losing my patience, and I'm sure he's gonna do it again.
I just want to say one thing. I will not condone any fighting. Now, defending what's yours and the work you put into it, that's another matter. If you don't stand up to a bully, you might as well get used to being run all over.
Edwin, I won't stand for my boys acting like hooligans.
Well, neither will I, Pearl. But if it takes a fight to stand up for what's theirs.
You've been there a few times yourself.
Here they come!
Reverend Porter?
Yes.
I'm William Lee. I'm Eric's father.
Oh, yes, Raven's friend.
Well, I don't know if I'd put it that way. Not just now, anyway.
Well, sit down. What can I do for you?
Well, it seems our boys had what you might call a fracas this afternoon. Eric's got a black eye he'll remember till Judgment Day, and well, normally I'd be here to kick up a fuss, but the truth of it is Eric started it and got what he deserved.
Well, how do you know that?
Well, there was a witness to the entire event, a man who claims to be a friend of yours,
John White?
Anyways, I want you to know that Eric's going to be helping your boys in the field. I figure he can work off his punishment and square things.
Thanks for coming by. I'll walk you out. Come on.
I used to be a member here myself.
Oh, really? What happened?
Oh, it's been years. Business started taking off. Family started growing. I guess we just lost time for the church. Well, Reverend, I'll be seeing you. I hope it's under better circumstances.
I'm hoping so, too.
You boys are supposed to be working, not fighting like a bunch of barbarians. I'm sure when Papa gets home, there'll be some punishment handed out here.
Pearl, I'd like to talk to the boys.
But Papa, you said...
I said I wouldn't condone fighting, and I won't. I know everything that happened out there today. Pearl.
Edwin, don't you touch them.
Starting tonight, there'll be no television, no desserts, no dates, and no phone calls. Extra chores for all of you.
Papa? For how long?
Considering the nature of the circumstances, one night.
Who could that be?
Sally.
Reverend Porter, Tom and I have decided to get married.
After what happened and all, Sally wouldn't have nobody do it but you.
I know the conference starts today.
Yeah, in Dallas.
Well, Tom's got a job offer in California, and since we'll be leaving here today, we figured this would be about the only time we could have the ceremony.
I got a license.
Good. Good. And so by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you man and wife.
What I owe you, preacher?
You hang on to that. You're going to need that money when you get to California.
Thank you for everything.
Sure. Good luck to you, Tom.
Thank you, sir.
You take care of him now.
Bye-bye. Edwin, do you remember when we got married?
Well, I'll tell you what I do remember. It wasn't 5 in the morning.
A bunch of ministers could sing like that.
And that's just the rehearsal.
Armando.
Ah,
Good. One.
friends.
Very good. Ah, parte de mi familia está aquí. Let's take a recess.
How's my girl?
Okay. Just came today.
Oh, from Elliot.
Hi.
Esta es mi casa, my house.
It's very big.
Sí.
How many kids live there?
47.
47?
Sí.
My house has 7. I thought that was a lot.
Sounds like Korea isn't exactly what Elliot thought it would be.
Anyone care for some cold lemonade?
Ooh, you look like you need some refreshing.
I feel like I'm taking a shower out here.
You will be taking a shower just as soon as you get home. Don't drink that too fast now.
Thanks, Mom.
We'll see you back home.
Bye, Ma.
Bye. Mom and my little sister checking up on us.
Raven, I just want to say that...
Don't worry about it. I'm sorry, too.
Good afternoon, ladies.
Hi.
Hot as a tin roof in August, wouldn't you say?
Sure is. Mr. White, would you like some lemonade?
Mr. White? No one's called me Mister for years. No, I've got my own nectar right here.
Is that whiskey? Aline?
Oh, it's no mine. No, this is white lightning. It's just another kind of poison.
Then you'll be coming to the revival, won't you, Mr. White?
What makes you ask that, honey?
Papa always says all the poison drinkers will show up at the revival.
We'd better be getting home.
And the little child shall live.
That would be nice.
And we have got to separate the sheep from the goats. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This church can't pay its bills. And this is a big piece of land. It can be sold to a business and turned into jobs and income for the whole town. Maybe even a factory.
We need time, Jack.
Time? For what?
For our revival, for our pledge drive.
Brother Porter, I've got federal and state examiners to answer to. The reputation of the bank is at stake.
The bank's reputation? Who in the world cares about the bank's reputation?
I do.
Gentlemen, nobody wants anybody's reputation tarnished.
Brother Porter, where's the money going to come from? You think it's going to just float down on us, out of the sky, from heaven? All right, I'll extend. But it's the last time.
Well, how long can you give us, Jack?
Till the end of the year. It's the best I can do.
Good night, Brother Porter.
Good night, Miss Cartwright.
Good night, Miss B.
Good night, Brother Porter.
Good night, Mr. Granger.
Well, Missy B,
is your money still on me?
Good things happen to good people. By the way, Billy Kilgore, the man with the cross of light, has agreed to preach revival.
Oh, good.
And he's bringing Claudia Walker. They say he has a voice from another planet, like a choir of angels. Powerful is what they say. Bye-bye.
Good night, Missy B. Good evening.
Evening. Scintillating night for the firmament, wouldn't you say, Reverend?
Do you mind if I share the view a minute?
Not at all. Be honored. Reverend, you see that big one? That's the planet Venus. That's the brightest natural object in the night sky, after the moon, of course. And there's a bluish one there. That's Regulus. That's the brightest star in the constellation Leonis. Leo the Lion.
You really know this guy well.
Like my own face.
Yeah, I reckon the future's up there.
Uh-huh. And also the past. You know, it's amazing how few people can actually find the stars. Considering, I mean, they're all there every night of our lives.
I guess if you're gonna find something, you have to know where to look. Might need a little help.
Do you think people are afraid of the stars?
I guess everybody's a little scared of things they don't know. Sort of like the truth. No matter how brightly it's shining. It takes a little courage to really see it.
And courage is hard to find.
It's like the stars. Gotta know where to look.
You know, Reverend, you have a really wonderful family. Especially Pearl.
Thank you. I always thought that Pearl would be able to live her life without me, but I sure wouldn't be able to make it without her. John, you ever considered coming to church on Sunday?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Now remember, that means you're doing fine.
I know.
This means you're too intellectual. If I nod my head yes, it means you've made a good point. I
know.
And if I do this,
I've been preaching too long. Pearl, you've been giving me the same signals for 20 years. And I thank you for each and every time. Now, I gotta go.
Want to start right, Ranger?
One of my favorite stories from the Old Testament is the story of David and Goliath. I think it has a powerful message for all of us. Now, if you'll recall, David's battle was with more than just Goliath. Each of these men was representative of a far greater dispute. The real issue to be decided that day in the valley in Palestine was whether the land and the people would follow the laws of the pagan god of the Philistines or Yahweh, the God of Israel. That same issue is what makes this story so contemporary for us today. Are we, like David, going to face up to our belief that God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, has a claim on our life and on our world? Every day of our lives, we face a myriad of Goliaths. A friend turns his back on himself and decides to waste his life with alcohol or drugs? Do we have the courage to help him overcome this tragedy? A war in a strange land takes our loved ones for reasons we don't seem to comprehend. Do we have the courage to believe that God is good even in the midst of human carnage? Our own church, do we have the courage to face the task of saving God's house, this structure, our programs, so that we may resurrect our spiritual synergism in order to establish the kingdom of God on all the earth? When David faced up to his Goliath, he was not scared. He was not alone, and he was not to be defeated, because he had the courage to believe in God's presence, to live what he believed, to live what he believed. Do we? And now may the blessing of God Almighty,
Penny for your thoughts.
oh, just trying to figure people.
That'll get you into trouble.
There's someone I was sure was going to be in church today, but he wasn't.
Whoever it was missed a good sermon. If this church doesn't make it, it isn't because of you. You know that. I've known you for 23 years, Ed Porter, and I've never seen anything you had to be sorry about.
23 years. What about you, Pearl?
There's one thing I'll never be sorry about.
Marrying a preacher.
Marrying you.
You see that white spot up there? That's Venus, the brightest natural object in the night sky. After the moon, of course. And that bluish star? Just over the trees. Regulus. Sterling, Brother Kilgore.
Thank you, Brother Porter. But I'm afraid my arrival is shrouded in gloom.
Something wrong?
There most unfortuitously is. Here's the proposition. Claudie Walker, hear the voice from heaven, suffering a devil's inflammation of the larynx.
You mean he can't sing?
Sing? Why, he can't make enough noise to scare a mockingbird out of a hackberry tree.
Voice from another planet? It's gone.
I'm sorry, Brother Porter, for this misfortune. But here's the proposition. A revival without the blessed, sweet music of the gospel. Well, less than glorious.
Can we get another professional singer?
Papa, I've got an idea. The best two singers I know live right here in this house.
I hope they like it.
Calm down, both of you. You'll be just fine.
Yeah. Son, I can date every useful act of my life to a night when I first heard this song sung. I never start a revival without it. Here's a proposition. Someone out there tonight is going to come through. It happens every time. They aren't going to just like it when you sing. It's going to help them change their lives.
Hello, Harry. There's a road that leads to glory. There's a road that leads to shame.
Times when I've been lost or lonely, but roads look the same.
There's a voice that lifts me upward, and another pulls me down. But when I turn to you, your light shines through, and I know at last that I am found. Where the door is always open, where the light is always on, and your voice from within calls me home again, and your spirit makes me strong. In your glow, I see my pathway. In your love, my pain is gone, and the joy that we share keeps leading me where the door is open, the light is on. The door is open. The light is
I have come to tear an evil passion to tatters. Satan, begone, you and all your schemes. The salvation of sinners is a fiery battle. We shall wage it here this evening. Have you planned the pathways of your lives? Have you chosen the path to joy, glory, and the companionship with Jesus, or have you chosen the pathway to gloom, despair? Choose your path. Choose it tonight with me. Choose a glory road. Sinners, come. Place your hands in mine. Say you want to live a Christian life. Come to the mourner's bench. Find your salvation. It's time to bring in the sheaves.
Bring in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing. Bringing in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing. Bringing in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing. Bringing in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing.
Brother, if your heart is as my heart, give me your hand.
Bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing. Bringing in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing. Bringing in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves. Bringing in the sheaves.
Brother Porter, I think there's something you should know about John White.
How'd you know I'd be here?
Well, some things you just know. You loved him. What you feel proves it. You remember John White, Mama's angel unaware? He was born and raised in Sterling. Got married and moved away to Houston. According to Missy B, became a scientist for the government, very successful. Then a few years ago, there was a terrible car accident. He lost his wife. Quit his job. Started drinking, gave up on everything. And eventually drifted back home to Sterling.
You remember when he gave Mama the roses?
I tried to figure out where he got roses in March.
And it was John on the road that night that helped your Mama and I find. And then there was that night at the revival. John suffered a tragic loss of somebody he loved. And he needed help. But all the while, he was helping us. I think the hand of God put John White into our lives so that we could learn to see good in the most unlikely places. And I think he did it so that John could learn that love will always defeat death.
Miss Porter?
Merry Christmas, Mr. Lee.
Well, I don't know about the merry part. Has the bishop decided what he's going to do yet?
Not yet. And we're still 16,000 off. Perhaps we aimed a little too high. Then again, it's only the building we're losing, not the spirit.
Well, I wish there was something I could manage.
I think your coming back to the congregation was a lot in itself. That fracas our boys got into was good for something.
Yeah. Well, you're an optimist, Pearl, and the world needs more like you. Merry Christmas.
That's all, or there won't be any for tonight.
Mom, where's Eileen?
She's over at the church putting the angels on the tree for the party. Why don't you two go get cleaned up? Especially you, Gilderoy. Paul?
Hello, Eileen.
Hi, Mr. White.
Do you think you could do me a big favor?
Sure.
This is for your papa. Could you give it to him for me?
Sure.
Thank you.
We never saw John White again, but that check he gave me for Papa saved this church. Paul Candler, the youngest of my brothers, grew up to be a bookbinder. His sense of humor never left him. I yearned to be an actress on the stage, but as I grew older, my energies turned from acting to the writing of books. Gil, our Gilderoy, became a very successful pharmacist. Ed, the quietest of our bunch, had a career as an executive with a food manufacturer. Rabin was offered a career in the musical theater in New York, but he heeded a different call and followed in his father's footsteps. Jeanette loved to teach children, and that is what she did. Oh, and she eventually married Harry. Cecil went into business. In time, he became the financial manager of one of the largest Methodist churches in the world. Hugh was ordained and preceded Rabin into the ministry. In our own ways, each of us followed Papa's principles that it isn't enough to just believe. you have to live your beliefs as well. Mama was the first in the family to step out upon an unfamiliar path. And when she died, it was with the knowledge that 8 younger hearts of her creation missed and loved her dearly. Papa held a pulpit for more than 7 decades, and the day before he left this world, he served communion and performed a wedding. Right up until the moment he died, my Papa was a preacher.
There's a door where there's no sorrow, only hope and life anew. I feel peace and understanding the very minute that I walk through. In your light, I see love growing.